Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my booktube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today we're going to talk about my 2-year anniversary on BookTube. I gave you a chance to write me some questions, and in the end it turned out to be quite a lot. So thank you guys so much for throwing some questions my way. Anyway, let's just do this and jump into all the interesting questions I got from you. Okay, next one came from Christy at Christy Louise Dostoevsky in Space. And she said congratulations, so thank you Christy for your congratulations. And then she asked, I would love to hear how you found BTS. Oh Jesus, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, do you? A BTS question. I should have known that this would come. Bio will be very pleased to hear my BTS story, if she hasn't heard it in one of my other videos yet. How did I find BTS? Well, I became ARMY in the fake love era. So when I discovered BTS was in 2018, I think. 2018 they released Fake Love. And the interesting thing is, I think they released it in May or so, and I only discovered that video through my YouTube. I was on YouTube and watched videos from other musicians. I mean, that's what you do when a new single is released. You hear it on the radio, you look it up on YouTube and watch the video to it. And I got a suggestion that I might like BTS and their song Fake Love. So what did I do? Naturally, I clicked on it, and that was the moment I absolutely and unconditionally and irrevocably fell in love with BTS. I was so blown away by this video. Not just the song itself, which is amazing. I mean, I must have listened to Fake Love about a zillion of times by now, but I still love to listen to it, and it never gets old. And the other thing was those 7 boys. They just blew me away. They were all drop dead gorgeous. I mean, undeniably drop dead gorgeous. Each and every single one of them. And their dancing. I think what really hooked me wasn't just that they were gorgeous and that the song was amazing, but what really did it for me was the dancing. Because the dancing, as you all know, I love to dance. And the dancing and the movements, the fluidity, the atmosphere they created with their dancing, it totally blew me away. And I'm still such a huge fan of all the choreos. I just love to watch them dance. It brings me so much joy to see them doing what I love. It also makes me very sad sometimes because I can't do all of the moves they are doing because of certain health reasons, but they really made me enjoy dancing so much again, because even though I can't do all of the choreos anymore, they still kind of, I don't know, reawakened that joy in dancing in me. And the music, their characters, I only discovered them in 2018. Then I listened to their songs every once in a while and got even more into the fandom. And I think what really got me into the fandom in the end, which caused me to get to know them better, to find my bias or biases, and to really become a hardcore, die-hard, Bangtan for life fan, was in the year 2020, because then I finally had time during the lockdowns when I couldn't go to work and everything stood still, to really explore their run episodes and their interviews and everything that's behind the scenes And then I really learned about their characters and how they are. And yeah, so I think Fake Love Era was what dragged me into the fandom, but what really cemented the moment I became a die-hard fan was definitely the year 2020, when I learned about the characters, how they are, and yeah, I just love them all. They are my 7 boys, really. They are just amazing. And sorry for the super long answer now. I already said that was kind of Pandora's box to open. Once you start me raving about BTS, I never stop. Okay. Let's just see to the next questions, and those are a couple of questions by Ellen at Ellen Onoda, and she asked me, I think, 3 questions or so, so I'll try my best to answer them. The first question Ellen asked me is there a book or a series that got you into reading? If so, what book or series was it? And here I have to mention that I was always a reader, but there were 2 moments in my life when I got into reading and when I rediscovered reading. So the series that definitely got me into reading as a kid was the Knickerbockerbande by Thomas Brezina. He is an Austrian author. He also wrote Tom Turbo. I don't know if anyone outside of Austria even knows Tom Turbo. But yeah, the Knickerbockerbande was basically about 4 teenagers that solve cases, and it was a little bit creepy, but also mysterious and fun and adventurous. So I was totally hooked to the series as a kid. It really got me into reading. I think I read so many of those books. I don't even know how many I read, but it were a lot. And even though I still continued to read over the years, I didn't have all too much time to read as a teen, because school was keeping me busy and I would read a book a month or so. I mean, it was still reading, but it wasn't as much as I used to read as a kid. And then I discovered Flowers on the Attic by V.C. Andrews, and I think I must have read it when I was 11 or 12, I don't know. And this book, which is, by the way, way too young to read this book. I was too young to read it at that time. But never mind, let's just let this slide and talk about the book. It's basically about 4 siblings that are locked up in their grandmother's attic because their father died and their mother had to move back to her parents, and her parents don't like her kids. And they don't want anyone to know that she even has 4 kids, because apparently she ran away with their father when she was young. So they locked them up in the attic, and yeah. It's a really hard and tough book to read. The 2 teenage kids, Christopher and Kathy, go through a lot in that one. And I think the twins are called Corey and Carrie. But whoa, that book was, it totally got me back into reading. I was so intrigued. I binge read the entire series, which consists of 5 books, I think. So wow, that was a lot to read. And I think I binge read a lot of her other series as well. So yeah, she definitely got me into reading again. Flowers in the Attic. Amazing, hard-hitting book right there. Okay, so let's just move to the next question so that I don't take all too much time. If you could only read 3 books for the rest of your life, what 3 books would you choose? Ooh, Ellen, you don't make it easy for me, do you? Just 3 books. Okay, I'm going to narrow it down and say that it will have to be standalones, because when I read the first book in a series, I would want to read the rest. And well, that can't happen, right? So I will try to narrow it down to standalones. And I think if I had to, it would definitely be The Picture of Dorian Gray, because it's one of my absolute favorite books ever, which you probably could tell when I raved about Lord Henry early on. The Song of Achilles by Madeleine Miller, because the Song of Achilles is so beautiful. I love that book so much. It's, wow, it has such beautiful prose and it's so heartbreaking and beautiful to read. And the third book, now it's getting hard, but I think if it has to be a standalone, I mean, it's not exactly a standalone, but I consider it to be a standalone, is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I consider it to be a standalone because, quite honestly, Patrick, where is the third book? I still haven't dared to read the second book because the third book was never released and we've been waiting for that third book for more than 10 years, I think. So for me, The Name of the Wind is definitely a standalone until or unless Patrick finally releases the third one. And yeah, The Name of the Wind is a really great book. I loved it so much and I had so much fun with it, so I'm going with that one as the third book. And the last question from Alan is, how has your reading evolved over the years? Did you fall in love with a new genre, stop reading any genres, read more or less, reading habits, etc.? And well, that's a difficult one to answer. Yes, I think my reading style or habits changed a lot. I used to read a lot when I was a teen and I had all summer long to read. Now with work, I try to get in a couple of pages every night. I definitely changed the reading habit of reading just one book. When I was a teen, I would read one book and kind of dig my teeth and claws into it and finish it before I started the next one. But nowadays I became such a mood reader. I gotta be honest here, I'm such a mood reader and I actually read about 5 or 6 books at the same time. You can see that on my currently reading on Goodreads. There are always 5 or 6 books on my currently reading because I like to vary and I like to mood read and to read the book that fits my mood the most. So yeah, that changed a lot and I think I've become a night reader mostly because during the day I can't read, aside of when I commute to work, then I will read. But I think I usually read at night. And as for where I read either in my bed or on my sofa. Yeah, that changed a lot. And also for reading habits, I tab my books now. I didn't do this until I joined Goodreads in 2017, I think. I never wrote reviews about books before, but I got inspired by all the amazing reviews I saw on Goodreads and decided I wanted to write some reviews as well. And since 2017, I also started to tab the quotes in books and to read more, I don't know, more thoroughly and more intensely. I really concentrate on reading. I used to just read for enjoyment. I still do that, but I'm more aware of the plot and of the characters, and I think that changed a lot through writing reviews about the books I'm reading. I'm more aware of tropes and of character building, story building, the plot, if there are holes in the plot. Yeah, I became a more sensible reader, I think. I think you could sum it up like that. I've become a sensible reader. And as the genres in which I read changed a lot too. I used to read a lot of fantasy, almost only adventure and fantasy when I was a kid and a teen. But now there are so many LGBTQIA+ books out there, and I gobble them up like nobody's business, because when I was a teen they didn't exist. And it's so nice to see representation in books, to feel represented, and to know that there is rap out there. And yeah, I read a lot of young adult. Young adult is also a genre that came up with Twilight, I think. So yeah, the books I'm reading changed a lot too. I read a lot of fantasy, historical fiction, and horror as a kid and teen, and now I'm more reading the genre, still of fantasy, but also young adult and LGBTQIA+ books. Also romances every once in a while. I mean, I still read in a lot of genres, but my focus has kind of shifted. Yeah. Okay, that's the answer right there. Just going to take another sip. I don't know how long I've been recording this already, but it's a long video. It's going to be long. I will make sure to make chapters so that you can just look up your question if that's the only thing you're interested in. Promise, pinky swear. Okay, this said, let's head to Katja's question. Katja at Obviously Queer. Thank you, Katja, for watching my videos and being on my channel. It's an honor. Ask me a couple of questions as well. So the first one was, if you could read one book for the first time again, which one would you choose? Katja probably could have anticipated that answer. And quite honestly, now that I finished the series, I really wish I could reread The King's Man by Nora Sakavich again. I loved this last book so damn much. It was, I had a field day reading this book. I had the best time of my life reading this book because the Andrea ship finally sailed. And I know it's the third book in the series already, but I would love to get back to the moment. I had no idea how amazing it would be, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. And Katja's second question is, if you would have dinner with 3 book characters, which ones? Now that's an interesting question. Dinner. I love my dinners to be entertaining, not gonna lie. So I'm just going to pick the most entertaining characters I can think of. So the first one would be Nikolai Lantsov from the Grishaverse, because Nikolai is, whoa, I love his humor. He is very similar to me in that regard, and I just would love to spend a dinner with him. And to make it even more interesting, I would also invite Mirko Vere from the Nevernight Chronicles by J. Christoph, because Mia sounds like such a fun person to dine with. She has such an interesting humor as well. And she's also deadly, an assassin, very clever, knows a lot about potions and poison. So yeah, that would make for good dinner conversations. And the last person I would invite to my table for dinner is Lucienne Mancera from the Akota series by Sarah J. Maas, because she is such a fun side character. I really wish for the book in which he becomes the main character, because as a side character he always intrigued me so much, and it's such a shame. It's really such a shame that Sarah didn't explore his character more yet. He has a really fine sarcasm and humor. Actually, that's one of the things those three and me all have in common. We can be pretty sarcastic sometimes. So we would have a really fun and interesting dinner if it would be us four. Yeah, I stand by that answer. This one would be fun. Really a lot of fun. And also, I mean, Nikolai, Lucienne and Mia, they're all gorgeous. And all three characters I would like to date. So yes, dinner with those three would definitely be a fun affair. Okay, and the last question from Katja is, if you could date one book character, which one? Ha ha. Okay. That one is hard. Just one? Just one? Okay. I mean, one of the go-to and knee-jerk answers would be Aaron Warner. And I know Cello will love that now that I mention him, but I think as for dating, I don't know, he would give you the moon and the stars, and he would be amazing. And that's okay. I love Aaron. I really, really love Warner. But I think Will Herondale would give me a run for my money and would be able to challenge me more, if that makes sense. So I think, and I'm bending the rules here a little bit, for a boy, I would definitely want to date Will Herondale. Will Herondale would be amazing as a boyfriend, or book husband, or whatever. And the second person, and I'm going for a female character here now, would be, I think, Jude Duarte. Jude would definitely make life very interesting, and I love that she's always so passionate about everything she does. She always gives 100%, and yeah, she also loves 100% once she decides to love someone and let someone into her cold and backstabbing heart, and that's just sexy. So yeah, Jude Duarte as a female character. Okay, good. I think I'm already, or rather not already, I think this video took way too long already. But yeah, you get what I mean. I'm at the last question, and the last question was by Rachel at Rachel's Reading Nook. And Rachel asked me, is there a book that you've come to enjoy more as time has passed? Yeah, that's a good one. I think if there's one book I've came to enjoy more as time has passed, it would be really The Picture of Dorian Gray. It's been my favorite book when I was a teen and read it for the first time, and I've reread it over the years a couple of times, every single time at a different stage of my life, like in my early teens, in my later teens, in my 20s, and when I had my kid. And I'm always discovering new things about this book, and I see it with a different view each and every single time I pick it up, because I've grown as a person, and you just pick up on different things when you grow and evolve. So yeah, I think that would be my answer. The Picture of Dorian Gray is definitely a book I've enjoyed even more with every reread and every experience or life experience I made, because this book keeps me on my toes and always challenges me to rediscover it new with different eyes. Yeah, I hope that makes sense and that this was a good answer. And well, I'm already at the ending of my video. I hope you enjoyed my answers. Thank you all so much. You even get a double heart now. Thank you all so much for asking me all those interesting questions. I really had a fun time doing this video, and you really gave me a lot of interesting questions to answer. I think no tag video could have done it as well as you guys. So thank you so much for taking part and participating and giving me some questions to answer. So this said, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment. I always love to see comments from you, so please don't hold back and just throw a comment my way or give me a purple or green heart if you don't know what to write. And thank you all a lot, so much for 2 years on BookTube, for sticking around, for still watching and commenting on my videos. It means the world. I might not be the biggest channel out there, but I'm still slowly growing, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate this and how thankful and grateful I am that some of you have been around since I started this channel and others came along the way and still stuck around. So thank you all so much for the support. Okay, and before I get even more emotional, I will just wrap it up here and say thank you for watching. I hope you're all still healthy and fine. Take care and see you around the next time. Bye!